Music is such an incredible thing. Music is such an incredible thing in many ways. When you are asking me this question, I'm just trying to think how I can possibly, respond in an easier way. The closer a music style is attached to a dance form,
okay,
the easier is the survival for that music style.
Okay.
Okay.
Because there's more people invested in wanting to hear it and play it.
I'm not an ethnomusicologist, but it's a known fact that in New York City, the big bands, jazz big bands that were playing swing, danceable music, etc. The moment that bebop gets created, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we're gonna make this music a lot more open, a lot more intricate. We're gonna make this music sort of like for us. We're gonna turn it into a quintet or sextet format, and I've heard it said by other people, but I don't want to quote names. And you guys are going to sit down and shush.
To
the audiences.
Right. So we're talking about music where we sit and listen and we don't react versus we participate with our body.
When that started getting popular and the economics of the big bands start decaying, then that music lost its danceability. And what happened with that music? It died.
Yeah. Hay que quitarle la coronavirus. That's right. We're not afraid to sing our guests' music.
We're so excited to bring you this part 2 episode with Edgardo Cambón. He brought his original music to the Bay Area in the mid-'80s. Be sure to catch his pandemic and political-themed song, Rey Sin Corona, at the end of the episode.
The concept of a sonero is a vocalist who improvises between the choruses. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So let's just say that you have in English, just a little bit, just a little bit, and Aretha, instead of saying real, or whatever, maybe that was the whole chorus, Aretha would improvise something in the middle. Just a little bit for me, just a little bit for you, just a little bit. That would have been an example of what a sonera would be in American music. Basically, comes from the African, what we call and response action in a lot of African music.
A little bit. What song is that?
Well, that's Respect.
Respect. Thank you.
But I don't think think she did that in there. I'm just using I'm using examples for you to understand.
I got it.
Where is that coming from? It comes from the exchange between a large group of people singing and a lead singer improvising in the middle.
Okay.
What we call and response in most music that comes from the African diaspora. Right? It's a common thing in group singing, and not just from Africa, also European singing, the call and response, right? A large group says something, the lead vocalist says something. So in Afro-Cuban music, we call a person that has that ability to create that on the spot about a subject, right? Okay. Or on the spot over a refrain, or on the spot at a recording is a sonero.
Okay, got it.
But that also comes from the tradition of son music. That's why they call it sonero.
Right.
Moreno africano, esclavo a Cuba llegó, y para salvar su historia a su hijo se la enseñó, que a todos los orillas nombre de santo le dio, y todo se fue mezclando con el sabor español. Su nieto nació mulato, la nueva lengua aprendió. Algunos años más tarde la libertad lo besó, y al sonar de las guitarras y al repicar de un bongo le llamaron son montuno y un guajiro lo cantó.
I was a visionary in the sense that I did not want to come into the scene taking work from people.
Okay.
Neither, and my intelligent move was to say, okay, I need you to rehearse with me 4 times, but there is already work lined up. See, most bands, they start as a garage thing. They try to, but they don't have anything to offer, so they have a really hard time getting professional musicians or decent musicians to be a part of it.
Right.
So it's a very way of struggling to get interest in your product.
Okay.
But if you go to people and you say, look, we're going to rehearse in the month of August, but I have 4 gigs lined up for September. It wasn't that I was necessarily lucky. Art Jackson, that promoter that I told you, sort of like helped me out, you know, by introducing me. And these clubs, they took a chance with me. Not that they took a chance financially. No. They were interested. It's a new product and blah, blah, blah. Right. And so, you know, I had my 8x11 photo, and I had all my, you know, my promo material and those newspapers in a strange language. And so this guy said, okay, well, you know, why not? It's not going to cost us any more money or any less money.
Sure.
So that put my first Candela band together.
And Candela is 30, 20 years?
Candela now?
Yeah.
36. That was the first album. That album came out in 91.
Coge el trillo, venado. En la música y la vida no quiero complicación. Me gustan las cosas simples, me llegan al corazón. Un solo golpe en el quinto, la campana bien derecha, siguiendo en el mismo surco. El caminante hace brecha, te digo yo.
Palo no tumba mosca, palo no tumba mosca, palo no tumba mosca, palo no tumba mosca.
But I go to Cuba in 89, and there I'm not hearing any of what I've been hearing in New York City, well, from albums, because I hadn't been in New York yet. But my mind is totally blown by what I see conceptually. Cuba has always been at the forefront, okay? And there is a lot of controversy in the statement that I just made. Okay, so this music can be great in many, many, many places, but we play Cuban rhythms. That's Mr. Ernesto Tito Puente, may he rest in peace, said it in many interviews. My name is Ernesto Tito Puente. I play Cuban music. And he was a New Yorker, and a lot of people in that scene didn't necessarily like the fact. If I play bomba and plena, I'm playing Puerto Rican music. If I play an aguinaldo, I'm playing Puerto Rican music. But if I play the rest, son, guaracha, cha-cha-cha, pachanga, all that, Now, without getting into big controversy, there is no doubt about it that without Fama All-Stars and what happened in New York City in the 80s, in the 70s, salsa music wouldn't be what we call, what it is today. And the terminology in itself is very controversial. Right. And I don't want to take too much of this thing just to, you know, to enhance the controversy. But it is not controversial to say Venezuela has its rhythms, Colombia has its rhythms, but when you're playing son-based music, you're playing Cuban music. Mark Anthony plays Cuban music with a dose of pop. So anyway, I go to Cuba, and I go to Cuba to study percussion with biggest mentor, Jose Luis Changuito Quintana. I've been in Cuba 7 times, 2 times in Puerto Rico. And so when I come back with my head completely revolutionized, because I said, why is it that the Bay Area, and at that time, here in the Bay Area, there was Machete Ensemble with John Santos and Rebecca, and a great lineup, and doing Latin jazz and danceable music with a couple of albums out. There was also Benny Velarde doing amazing stuff already, backing up Celia Cruz. There were the people who, there was a big foundation, right? But then there was Batachanga, great band also. They were the same suspects in different bands. Batachanga put 2 albums out of original charanga music, great music. So I was already in the melting pot of that, although I wasn't part of those bands, because I was already gravitating towards doing my own music. But I realized they are the pioneers that are recording albums. But the only problem is that at least I didn't have an opportunity to have a label. Labels were not interested necessarily, not necessarily in what I had to offer. So what did I do? I went into a restaurant and I worked for 5-6 shifts a week in a very important restaurant called I Fratelli. It was a restaurant an Italian restaurant, voted number 5th, at one time 3rd. There was one in Hyde and Green and the other one right in the down Pacific Heights area. And I made about $15,000 and I invested in my first album. In the arrangements. I work as a waiter.
Waiter, okay, got it.
I waited tables, lunch and dinner, making the money. I had one of those little mini recorder memo things. Right, yeah. So I would be between tables, between taking the salad out, taking the open up the bottle of wine and blah, blah, blah. I would go there and sing another line for another song. And so I was connected and documenting my creativity. This chorus can go with this can go with that. And then I would put those little pieces of a puzzle together and go to an arranger and say, this is the lyric, this is what I want to do. Okay, well, let's go. And what key? So, and I had the great privilege to work with some great arrangers like John Calloway, who participated in almost all my recordings, Rebecca Mauleon, who participated in a few of them, Marco Diaz, a younger generation pianist from United States, from Guatemala. I had arrangers from different places, different areas of the United States, people who believe in my creativity, but they helped me because, as I said, I could sing a line and I could sing a melody and I tell you this is what I want. And so I will make my memo things and then they start working on it, send me back and say, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about this chord progression?
Traigo candombe con salsa. Ayer te vi.
Caminando en Avenida 18, un día de lluvia, pero contento te vi.
Ayer te vi.
Comiendo garrapiñada en el zoológico en la calle Rivera, te digo te vi.
Ayer te vi.
En la escuela del tambor, donde todo el mundo aprende a candombear con sabor.
Ayer te vi.
Querido Montevideo, hoy te recuerdo y te canto de aquí. Y los metales de Candela. Con salsa y candombe. Arriba, muchachos, vamos arriba. Misterio.
But I don't consider myself a very highly trained vocalist. I have 2 or 3 warm-ups that I use. Some of them I do while I'm driving. Some of them I do when I'm in the shower. But I had some, interesting experiences vocally out of what salsa is. For instance, with the group Sobo So, which is formerly, my friends Voice Extra.
Voice Extra.
And
I just saw them on Monday.
Part of the album.
Yeah.
With
Bobby McFerrin.
Yeah. Dave Worm and all those guys.
And Brian and destiny.
And those guys taught me a lot about another aspect of this: how to blend, how to make your note a part of a chord, rather than having that not mentality, but that propensity to, as a lead vocalist, especially in salsa music, because salsa music is about belting it out. If you don't have a varicose vein coming out of your neck like this, you're not singing Cuban music. People want to see that photo and they see the guy like that. But there is a lot more vocally properly trained artists that are doing great work out there. And those are the ones who last.
Yeah.
But in Cuba, a lot of these people have amazing range and amazing tone, and it's folklore, it's natural. You don't have to infuse technique in everything.
Right.
But some people, if you need to go that route, you go that route. My process of composition comes from many different sources. Sometimes it starts with a hook. Grita fuerte, Josecito, que así te ganas la vida. Okay, that's the chorus. So this is important to mention in here as an advice to anybody who wants to do anything.
Right.
The first thing you need to do is to forgive yourself for sucking occasionally. Right? Because not all the ideas that I record, it's still the day of today. I wake up in the middle of the night to document an idea. Document everything that comes to mind. Documents everything. Listen to your ideas, give little titles, start making folders. The phones are amazing tools right now.
Right.
I may be in a club playing, and then I finish and the DJ takes over and there is a hook or a montuno, a particular riff on the piano on the song that is going on. And it's not that I steal it, but you can't copyright a montuno, right? You can't copyright a chord progression. To copyright melody, right?
Wow.
So
there are certain artists that are trying to fight with that.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. The industry is
doing weird things.
So I go out of the club, and based on that melody, based on that chord progression, I have my own hook or my own refrain over it, but it's not necessarily that all my songs come like that. Some other songs come from the lyrics. I write a whole lyrics. But what I don't suppress is the creative process. Some people, they get up in the morning every day and they sit on the piano to write. I write with this instrument. So for me, everything comes from the clave, right? Which I'm kind of like snapping it, right? I think, okay, what do I want to say? What is the theme of, for instance, we're opening that new production.
Yep. Fama Orquesta?
Fama Orquesta, right? And that's
that was my next question.
Good.
Thanks for coming. Welcome to the White House.
The best way to defeat this enemy in the long run is to deny them the recruiting tools and recruitment made possible by resentment.
We've got to do something fast.
We've got to stop chaos. What we need are more stringent protective measures and better organization. The challenge facing the United States is that we have to be right one time. I heard that. 100% of the time.
Oh, this is ridiculous. We're not getting anywhere.
El agente 87 con todo el mundo se mete, combatiendo al terrorismo, actos que él mismo comete. Por su complejo de Edipo quiere ser mejor que papi, expresidente la CIA, que de niño le enseñó a no compartir con nadie si a él no le convenía.
Not one doubt in my mind that we will fail.
Yes, well, that's what we call progress. I'm trying to think of a good argument for my country.
Follow me, the world is going to be worse.
Parece que allá en Irak su zapato no funciona y cuando explotan las bombas la realidad ya no es broma. Frente al mundo es un payaso y en su desesperación, si sus planes no terminan, hunde al barco sin timón. Es más bruto que un camión, adicto a la gasolina. A la gente 87 apenas le queda un año, pero sería muy extraño si hace algo por su gente. Nunca fue herido de bala y nunca sufrió un rasguño. Sin embargo, por su puño mueren miles de inocentes, gente tranquila en sus casas que no cometen pecado, solo el de vivir al lado del petróleo que él nos vende.
Yesterday, we had our first rehearsal.
Okay.
Okay, now these are all pros.
Okay.
And it's not that, okay, and different ages, different age groups, everybody's a pro.
Yeah.
9-piece orchestra
9 pieces.
with some additional vocalists popping in and out.
Okay.
Okay.
And a dancer at times, right?
Dancers, we're going to have a lot of dancers on the dance floor, and we have a dance instructor.
Okay.
But the sky is the limit.
Right.
Okay. So, Fame venue, 443 Broadway Street in San Francisco. It's a classical venue that has 2 halls. One is 450 people on the top, and the
Okay.
other one is about 300 people on the bottom,
Okay.
right? For the longest time, they were offering Metallica and Latin rock and heavy metal rock, believe it or not.
Okay.
They had big success with that. Initially, the top was used by the Italians as a boxing ring. It's not that it was used as a boxing ring. They had a boxing ring. It was designed for that, with balconies over
all around.
and the seats and all that. I don't want to make it sound like it was some kind of illegal
No.
activity or
Yeah.
anything like that, because I don't know that part of the story. But so that's the upstairs part. The bottom part was remodeled and modernized, modern decoration, lights. And the owner, Francesca, who I don't know her family name. Frankly, I don't know it. She was Francesca, and she's Francesca to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the manager, Eric, they are both high-tech people. Francesca used to work for HBO. And so when they created that place for private events and stuff like that, they created a broadcast situation where you can do a pay-per-view or live streaming.
Amores como este ya no hay.
En la escuela de la vida todo se aprende, querida.
Amores como este.
Todo va a cambiar, volver a empezar. Sal y pimienta hay que buscar.
Este ya
Y
no
un
hay.
balance en la sazón cuando habla el corazón.
Amores como este.
Es un amor desconocido que te lleva y no te entiende.
Ya no hay.
Pero si vuelves mi amor no te cobro intereses.
Amores como este.
Esa pasión compartida cuando juega la celeste.
Como este ya no hay.
De esos que hay que respetar.
Amores como este.
Y yo me muero en tus brazos, baby, en un mundo diferente.
Israel Tannenbaum, who is producing my next album, which is going to be a compilation of all four CDs with new mixes, new production, new arrangements, some of them adding horns. So we're tweaking and trying to create a new album. I don't want to call it the best of Edgardo, because, the best of Edgardo was when I was 18, but
Okay.
but I think I it's a compilation. It's definitely a compilation with new tunes. When I got the call to go into this place and check it out, it was sort of like not necessarily a call on despair, but it was a call like saying, look, nothing is happening in here. If we don't have private events, there's nothing happening. There's a full bar license. There's 2 venues, and we would like you to consider doing something. So I went there, and my initial proposal was to try to get paid. Try to get paid a secure amount for my orchestra, my existing orchestra,
Right.
Candela.
Candela.
After discussion, I was informed that wasn't going to work, that the only arrangement they were willing to do is you take the place on a day that you choose, we keep the bar, we provide you sound engineer, we provide you the technology, we provide you a clean place, a healthy environment, security, you provide your own door personnel, and you run your promotion and your venue. You keep the door, we keep the bar.
Wow.
But so this is the first time in 36 years that because
Ooh, I got chills up my spine.
a band costs money. We're trying to make this place to become the place on Thursday where, let's just say, you come to play at Yoshi's or you come to play in San Francisco at SF Jazz on the weekend, and you have your sound check in Thursday afternoon, or you arrive on the plane. What can we do Thursday night? Let's go to Fama. And $15 cover, which is super basic.
Awesome.
So we'll see.
Exciting.
So that's exciting.
And it's ongoing, right? Because this is not going to, this piece is not going to be out as soon as April 4th.
It is ongoing. It is ongoing until the first Uruguayan Bank of USA runs out of funds. I'm the first Uruguayan Bank of USA. There's no other Uruguayans around here. Are going to put their money. Uruguayans come here to work and make money, not to risk money.
Not to risk money.
but everything is done with intelligence, right? Israel and he plays piano and I'm going to be in the front singing. So we already are saving ourselves. Money, right?
Yes.
And we're paying the musicians right, and
a fair wage.
Yeah, and then they're gonna enjoy the food and stuff like that, and it's steady, and it's steady and it's serious, and for me, it's one of the few representations in the Bay Area right now that bring the post-pandemic feel of what it needs to be, and it takes us back all the 70s and 80s where you go to see a band and you see the same people on the stage all the time. See what had happened in the Bay Area, and I'm a part of that too, is that professional musicians in the Latin world, with very few exceptions, are like Latin gladiators, right? So imagine the movie The Gladiator.
Right.
The Gladiator movie. You were walking, looking for water in the desert. Some of them with a little taco over the shoulder, the other one with whatever it is in the background, and then we see each other and we salute each other, but we end up all mingled, playing together in all different bands. The survivors, the ones who make a living playing music, they play with 20 bands.
Right.
So it becomes a situation where bands, they may have identity based on the lead vocalist.
I gotcha. Yeah.
But everything else is the freelance world.
Right.
You see 4 or 5 people in every band, right? So when I came in here, it wasn't like that. It was when I came here in 1986, bands were more defined. So-and-so plays with so-and-so. In New York City in the 70s and 80s, you wouldn't dare to call even the conga drummer of one band to try to take it in your band. It could have been his decision, and then he politely would go and tell his band leader, I'm going to terminate my relationship with you because I make the decision that I want to play with somebody else. The concept of freelance, and this is one of the difference between United States and other places, let's just say Puerto Rico, Venezuela, etc., Colombia, there's a lot of freelance work. In Cuba, there is a lot still of that. Because if you play with one band, you just play with one band.
Yeah.
Right? So bands develop a sound.
Right. In your materials, one of the first things I clicked on as I was exploring your background, I don't remember which website I went to, but it went to a calendar of dance events. And then somewhere else in your materials, you said, what you do is in service to the dancers. I've not seen musicians position themselves as for the dancers, right? And obviously from the music, from how we behave when we hear this music, when you hear salsa, when you hear Afro-Cuban, the beat, right? You can't ignore the rhythm. It's obvious why it's for the dancers.
Yeah.
But there's something else under there that is different from other forms of
styles of music.
Yeah.
I agree.
What do you, what, how do you think about that? It's in service to the dancers.
Well,
it's
music is such an incredible thing. Music is such an incredible thing in many ways. When you are asking me this question, I'm just trying to think how I can possibly, respond in an easier way. The closer a music style is attached to a dance form, the easier is the survival for that music style.
Okay.
Okay,
Because there's
so
more people
I'm not
invested
a-
in wanting to hear it and play it.
I'm
right?
not an ethnomusicologist, but it's a known fact that in New York City, the big bands, jazz big bands that were playing swing,
Yeah.
danceable music,
Yeah.
etc. The moment that bebop gets created, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we're gonna make this music a lot more open, a lot more intricate. We're gonna make this music sort of like for us. We're gonna turn it into a quintet or sextet format, and I've heard it said by other people, but I don't want to quote names. And you guys are gonna sit down and shush.
So
to the audiences.
Yeah, right. So we're talking about music where we sit and listen and we don't react versus we participate with our body.
When
Yeah.
that starts to started getting popular, and the economics of
Right.
the big bands start
Right.
decaying,
Right.
then that music lost its danceability. And what happened with that music? It died.
Yeah.
A lot of those musicians gravitated toward the big bands of New York City. Machito, Tito Rodriguez, Tito Puente, that had large bands, Latin bands at that time, which later, those bands, they also disappear. Everything we do is based in economics, but economics are based in sale of alcohol and sale of tickets. So if we get people to dance to the club, but there is so many layers of that onion in this discussion because, I don't know, there are a lot of artists who pack stadiums without being very, very danceable.
I gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you go to see a concert of Mark Anthony at a stadium, people are going to get up and dance on the aisles, but it's really not a dance concert if you think about it.
Right.
Okay? Well, that is the result of many, many years of a lot of talent and a lot of other elements that Mr. Mark Anthony has for himself. A movie artist, movie star, etc., very popular artist, right? It took a long time for him to get to the point of filling up Madison Square Garden, right? Now, in a much lower spectrum of things, if we don't get the dancers in the dance floor and they don't come to see us, and our music is danceability and the show is there, then you don't survive playing Latin music. Now, at the same time, if you want to, so what happens with originality? And that is a different subject that is tied up to this, because I like to do a market research all the time. So when dancers come to me and say they love the band or they love this, they love that, I ask a couple of questions. Sometimes I ask a question and I said to somebody, what's the band that you like the most? People who go out dancing a lot, right? They are out there supporting. And they pay the ticket and they buy a drink. That's another story, like some places they even take the water fountain out because salseros and the salsa community, especially the salsa congresses that attract large masses of dancers, they're healthy people. Healthy people, they go and they take 2 Pilates classes before they go, and they eat very light, vegan or vegetarian, and when they get in there, they pay the $15, but they're not going to consume zero in a drink.
But
so
they're going to dance.
The promoter is happy because he sold tickets, but the bar
is not happy.
is not happy. So the bartender is telling the owner, hey man, these people, when we get hip hop in here and reggaeton, they're dancing with the drinks in their hand. And we get this crowd of Latinos, they look fantastic. They all look like models, but you know what? I sold 3 Bacardi Colas all night. And so there is that economy, that fluctuation thing that you need to bring the people there.
Y entre los vagos de Malvin es el mejor. Oh, 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 flaco. Pa' todos los flaquitos de mi barrio.
Flaco, un caso perdido el flaco.
Por eso te lo digo yo, que el flaco vive bien a su manera, muchacho.
Flaco, un caso perdido el flaco.
Fumándose una pa' suave, bien tostadito, por el barrio anda el flaco.
Flaco, un caso perdido el flaco.
Tiene un póster de Gardel y habla del maracanazo.
Flaco, un caso perdido el flaco.
Con los botijas del barrio se va de noche al tablao.
Flaco, un caso perdido el flaco.
I have all the creativity to create music, to try to produce albums and things like that, and I've gotten a lot of help from many people.
Yeah.
But many times people ask me, what do you regret on life, regret on your career? And I said to people, I regret that I spent in my music a lot more time than what I spent trying to get management. Because if I would have spent management as an artist, an agency management, to
gotcha.
get management.
Right.
Because what it wears you out is that aspect.
Is
The
the business
aspect,
side.
the business size, the business. Now, to get management, you need to offer somebody at least 15% of every penny
Absolutely.
you make,
That's
right?
right.
So everything costs money. So when you ask a question about the danceability, I always keep on going back to the same. Thank God for the dancers. I wouldn't exist as a musician, if, at least not on the level that I do.
Right.
Now, I took a lot of beatings in my career from having to abandon the boat of playing only original music. We used to, in the 80s, with Candela, play exclusively, in the 90s also, play exclusively original music from the album. We had enough to, but in those days, that was the days of the .com around here.
Of course.
There was
yes.
an economy
Yes.
that was super powerful,
Right.
and that economy brought in white people with money,
Yes.
okay? And I say that measuring my words cautiously. And those people did not know about Latin, but they loved that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. My grandma watched, Carmen Miranda for
Yeah.
whatever reasons.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they had the finances. So what they want is a vibe and it's a theme. So in those days, we were getting the private gigs for corporations without asking so much for money. So when we went there, we play original music because they bought your CDs. They weren't asking you for Celia Cruz or for this or that. There were also those parties.
Yes.
That's what happened in the clubs. The salseros go there,
Right.
But we made our money with other community that was financially fluent and they didn't care. They just want a salsa band. They like the look, they like the percussion, they like the energy. And that was fantastic, right? Not that the other option. Now, when that starts dying, because the economy
About
died,
2001, 2000.
right? We have all that stuff, so that starts decaying, right?
Yeah, right.
So now we all need to survive in the clubs.
Yeah.
So the club owner says, okay, I'm paying you that much, but so and so who plays a lot of popular tunes, they are in the Latin Grammys. Every single time somebody wins something,
oh, yeah, you get that.
they hit it, they play it.
Yeah.
So those are the ones who bring me in my club 50 or 60 extra people. So who you think I'm going to hire in the rotation every month?
People that can play the pop stuff.
Right. So that makes musicians who play original music either stop playing those gigs or sacrifice some of that.
Hay que quitarle la corona al virus, pa' que se quede tranquilo. Hay que quitarle la corona al virus, pongámoslo ya en el olvido. Hay que quitarle la corona al virus, se cree el rey atrevido. Hay que quitarle la corona al virus. ¡Opa! Llegó la salsa. Latido de mi corazón. Seguimos hoy creativos, respetando la distancia, a combatir la ignorancia, con máscara y desde lejos. Escuchen bien los consejos en esta simple canción. Quédense adentro de la casa, que es la única solución. Hay que quitarle la corona al virus, es invisible el enemigo. Hay que quitarle la corona al virus.
That was inspiring. Get liner notes, guest photos, subscribe to the newsletter, and more at agilevocalist.com.